what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
Not many people know that he gave that speech from the bathroom because he had to pee really bad.
Yeah.
So there's President Nixon urinating in the Oval Office bathroom.
Didn't know the mic was still hot. That happens.
Ellen, can you fix me a whiskey and soda? This stuff goes right through me.
Holy smokes.
Something happened in there. Oh, so
wow.
You're listening to At Odds, maybe. That's Nate. I'm Brian.
Hi.
Today's Thursday, December 10th, 2015. We're in the Freedom Studios on the 15th floor of the Patriot Towers. We're in Liberty City. Where at, Nate?
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Why not?
Kentucky. The bluegrass state.
Yeah. They have bluegrass and fried chicken.
And mint juleps.
And caves.
There's no caves in Kentucky.
I heard there were.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The government filled those all in.
No, I heard there were caves.
Nope. They were too expensive.
Are you sure?
Yep. People kept going down there and not coming out. So they said, hell with it. We'll just fill it with cement.
Weird.
Took them 8
Yeah.
billion gallons of cement.
8 billion gallons. Mm-hmm. I doubt it.
More than that.
But okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. No more caves in Kentucky.
It's a bummer.
So unseasonably warm for most of the country. They were getting some snow out west today.
Yeah.
It's warnings.
Global warming, I think.
Well, it could be. It's certainly climate change.
Yeah. Yeah, the climate has changed.
In Kentucky here, it was almost 70 degrees.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just made that up.
I don't know either. We were down in the caves. It's cool in the caves.
It's 54 degrees year-round in the caves.
Yeah, it's about right. That's about right.
Thanks. I'm a geologist. 54 degrees exactly.
Yeah.
Plus or minus 15 or 20 degrees.
Right. Depending on the day.
The time of year, yeah.
Uh-huh.
How the air conditioning is working, whether there's a power source, all that stuff.
Yeah.
How much you've been drinking.
Yeah.
You could go spelunking, but not anymore in Kentucky. They filled the caves in. So, what do you want to talk about? How was your week?
Know. My week's,
Let's talk to Steve. Steve's our engineer. His mic isn't hooked up, but he can hear us. He's looking good today. He trimmed his beard. You notice that?
Yeah.
It was quite long.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit trimmed.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit more Neanderthal than he did Cro-Mag.
Uh-huh.
So it's a good look for him. I don't have too much going on. Everything's good. Looking forward to the holidays with Christmas coming up. And
Christmas is coming. Yeah, that's true.
Our office
15 days?
Yeah, our office Christmas party is next week.
Is it really?
Yep.
That's good. Has anybody made an unexpected trip to Saudi Arabia?
Just my boss and his wife.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, he had the wife before he went.
Right,
he didn't come back married.
He said he was going there for some kind of training.
Oh, right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming it was managerial.
He'd reveal it at the office party.
Yeah. He said he had a surprise for us.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah?
Yikes.
It's horrible.
It is horrible.
And
where I work, guns aren't allowed, so.
Right, so you're good. You're safe.
Very safe.
You'll be good to go.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about it.
Did I tell you that? Oh, I shouldn't. I will tell you. What the hell?
We are live.
I know. And this was several years ago with worries about the mass shootings and shootings and stuff. And our our law enforcement department sent out a memo saying that they had, if you'd request it, they had a little index card like this, driver's license size.
Okay.
A wallet card.
Yeah.
That told you what to do in case of a mass shooting. And
that's good.
Yeah, and I replied to all, which was, several thousand people
Yeah.
in the division.
On purpose?
Kind of.
Yeah, probably not, but okay.
And that's my story. It
I
was
know.
accidentally.
Yeah.
And I said, what do we do? Hold that card up and they'll block the bullets? And that didn't go over too well.
And now you have a new
Some
job,
people-
though.
Yeah,
It
right.
opened
And it worked up.
opened up opportunities for you, Brian.
You wouldn't believe how many people responded and said, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. The assistant division chief didn't think it was funny.
No, didn't think it was funny, huh?
She has no sense of humor, but she's gone and I'm still there.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
what our
You
office
had one
does.
of the cards and she didn't.
Yeah. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that.
You
Really,
would-
I mean, it was
not
it was
you.
stupid.
Yeah, of course it's stupid because it says things like hide, cower, call the police.
You have scissors.
Hide.
Use scissors if
Yeah,
you have to.
grab your scissors.
Throw a stapler.
Which
My stapler. Who's got my stapler?
once you're in that environment, yeah, grabbing your scissors or your chair or a fire extinguisher is the best you can do, and you should do that probably. But you shouldn't be forced into that environment to begin with.
Right. Speaking of mass shootings, I wanted to clear something up. It had been bugging me because I'd been hearing, the
Hey,
FBI.
there you go.
The FBI used, they used 3 or 4 people killed before they classified it. Well,
yeah.
for a decade or so, the FBI used 4 or more, and I've been seeing that in the press lately. Well, the FBI classifies mass shootings as 4 or more killed, including the shooter.
Mass killing.
Mass
Right.
killings,
Yeah.
mass murder, mass shooting. In order to be called a mass shooting or a mass killing, 4 people have to die. Now, I always thought it was 3, and I was right, because in 2013, President Obama mandated that further study of the problem, they would lower that number to 3 to make them more. So it inflated the numbers that were going on in previous years. So 2001, it's Public Law 112265, January 14, 2013. And it says, for the purpose of this subparagraph, the term mass killing means 3 or more killings in a single incident in a public place. Public place defined, those parts of any building, land, street, waterway, or other location that are accessible or open to members of the public, whether continuously, periodically, or occasionally, and encompass any commercial, business, cultural, historical, education, religious, governmental, entertainment, recreational, or similar place that is so accessible or open to the public. That's pretty much everywhere. I guess if it happens in your yard.
Not your house.
Yeah.
If you're, what does the public mean?
It defines public place as that, and it doesn't say residential.
Yeah.
Your home isn't open to the public.
Neither is Fort Hood.
Well, yeah, it is.
Certain parts of it aren't.
Sure, yeah. It just says governmental,
Yeah.
so I would
So would
assume.
I mean, there wasn't,
I'm assuming that would include military bases.
I think it should,
Well,
right?
I think
mean,
it
a
does.
mass
By
killing,
this definition, I would throw it in there.
Yeah.
It is accessible periodically, anyways, to the public, right? They can
Sure.
go in there and do stuff.
Yeah. Well, so is my house if it's
Not
if
really.
Not really. If it's for sale and I have an open house.
Then maybe,
I,
but that doesn't say residential.
no, I know, but it's probably not all encompassing either. I don't think it's only those places. And it says
it does, specifically says.
yeah, but the last clause is or similar place.
No, it doesn't. Or
Yes, it
similar,
does.
or similar place that is so accessible or open to the public.
Right.
Okay.
So accessible meaning open to members of the public, whether continuously, periodically, or
Right.
occasionally.
Yeah, maybe.
So it's
I
like it's like
suppose-
the drone ordinance that we're going to talk about. It
Oh,
means
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. Although, if you killed 5 people in your home and you weren't selling your house and it wasn't open to the
Yeah,
public,
right.
it probably wouldn't be classified as a public place.
I agree, and it probably shouldn't be.
As we often do, we're looking at the very technical aspect, which is what people should do.
Well, you have to, because that's what you have to worry about when you go to court, right?
So I just wanted to throw that out there and have it on record. It is now 3 people or more.
Right. Speaking of, which means the numbers have went up, right?
Well, yeah, it would increase the numbers, yeah.
Well, potentially. I assume it has. I guess I don't know that for sure. I assume there were some that had only 3 killings, but that also includes the shooter,
past, yeah,
or includes the killer,
right?
Right. If they kill themselves, that counts.
Or are killed by the police.
So, well, sure, but if they shoot 2 people and then shoot themselves, that's a mass killing,
right?
Under this definition,
right? So, yeah.
Okay.
So you could have 2 victims and the perpetrator.
Actually, yours was even better, right? If they shoot 2 people and then the police shoot them, even though the police stop them, that's still a mass killing, right?
Right.
So to stop a mass killing, you have to stop them 1 or less into the killing.
Well, I suppose you could, yeah, right. So even a citizen,
I think it would be the same.
If a citizen did that, if somebody came and shot 2 people and you shot the shooter and killed him, that would be classified. That incident would be a mass shooting.
And if
mass murder.
If somebody shot somebody in a mall and then the police showed up, missed, shot somebody else, and then shot the killer.
That's a good question. I don't know.
It says
right.
3 or more killings in a single incident.
Right.
I think that's a single incident.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the point is you can throw data out all you want, right? But what does it mean? And then ultimately it gets back to the argument I always make: it doesn't matter, right? I mean, if we had these every day, all day long, I still don't think it's a reason to take away freedom.
No, of course not.
Speaking of that, are you going to the mass shooting in near the University of Texas this weekend?
I'm busy this weekend. I won't be in Texas.
It's a mock mass shooting.
Yeah.
Put on
I wonder if they'll have 3 or more people mock dead.
I think they better.
They have to.
They better, yeah.
If they just have 2 mock dead, then it doesn't count.
Yeah, then it's just a mock shooting.
Yeah, just a plain old everyday happens all the time in Chicago shooting.
So don'tcomply.com and Come and Take It Texas are supposedly putting on this theatrical display. They were going to do it on the campus of University of Texas, but the university said, you're not a university group. We're not open to demonstrations by non-university
and
groups.
We will trespass you if you come on.
Right. So they're having an open carry march with real guns, pistols, rifles, those sorts of things. Yeah. Near campus, like across the road, right next door to campus, whatever it is. Then they're going to get out the fake guns, and they're gonna have some sort of mock mass shooting. It's going to be very realistic. They're going to use ketchup and cardboard.
No, cardboard guns. They're going to have bullhorns with sounds of gunfire.
Making sound effects and probably screaming and that sort of thing.
And then they're going to have people lie on the ground with ketchup on them.
Yep.
And they said it's very similar to a lot of campuses where they show a wrecked car with blood all over it.
They do that in high school all the time.
For drunk driving. So it's a visual form of free speech, but of trying to get a message across.
And I think absolutely if they don't do anything stupid, right, I think that's true.
You and I were talking before the show, and I asked, well, why didn't they get a campus group to sponsor this?
Right.
I mean, there is this concealed carry on campus group. I don't know if UT has a branch of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
then they could have done it on
the campus, and I would think, yeah. It'd be hard for them to deny that.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Seems like it should be hard for them to deny it anyway. But
I think they should have some mock rapes next time for some of the women's groups could have mock rapes.
They could.
And maybe...
Do you think a mock mass shooting is going to do any good? They said they were going to have fake concealed carriers as well. Are they going to stop it? Are they going to show like what happens when the good guy shows up?
Well, I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I suspect what they're going to do is portray it as if nobody's there to protect anybody, and these people are just going to go shoot.
They said they're going to have concealed carriers.
Oh, well,
I think they should have done both. Maybe like start them at the same time next to each other.
How many bodies are on the ground?
And one just ends, right? Like a guy comes in, so I'm going to shoot you. Boom. Game over. He's dead.
Right.
And then the next one just shoots everyone.
But then that's not a mass
and then they
shooting,
count them.
Right? Yeah.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah. And then I don't know. It gets complicated. We'll see. They're going to get press out of it, that's for sure, and I think that's one of the things they wanted to do, of course, when you're trying to promote.
Yeah,
cause,
they have gotten a lot of press, not a lot of positive press necessarily, but what did you expect, right? I mean, most things related to freedom don't get much positive press,
Right.
which is sad.
I got into a discussion today on Facebook where somebody...
Ooh, did you?
Yeah, that's a good surprise, you didn't it? That's a surprise. On mandatory military service for all 18, 2 years.
No.
And I
No is my answer.
That's that's slavery. And this former military guy went on and on saying it's not slavery because in the military they teach you a trade and they take care of you with medicine and they pay you and they feed and clothe you. And I said, well, the slaves, they got medical treatment because they were valuable and worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
They were fed and clothed. They learned trades.
Yeah.
The thing is they couldn't leave for a specified period of time, like never.
Yeah.
Although some were freed.
Yeah, yeah.
And he goes, no. No, they beat the slaves. And I said, some were mistreated. There's no question. Some were beaten, but some were taken, fairly good care of.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm sure no NCO ever hit or struck any recruit in the military. That's never happened.
Yeah.
So I don't think he had an argument. His was, it's an extreme, but it got my point across. He didn't see it, but
it's not that people that volunteer to go into the military is the problem, right? It's the idea. It's been going around for a few days now too. That everybody should be forced,
right?
Like
that's the word I
Israel,
don't
because
like.
look how good it works in Israel, and it might. That's fine.
It doesn't, because I've read things about that, and it's a joke. The 2-year military service is it's terrible. These guys have never really fought any wars, and they don't get the training they get, and they're in there and they're joking around and blah, blah, blah. It's not that great.
Yeah, I guess that's another point. It might lead to a less serious military, right? Because people are doing it because they have to.
Right. Why should I give it crap?
Like, for instance, I don't know, take your average high schooler who's forced to be at school every single day.
How is that going to be
right?
different in the military?
Right. That's my point.
The attitude,
because you're talking 18. They're really not much older, right? I mean, some of them are seniors in high school.
Now, I think what you should do, though, is you should start beating them.
In
like
high
they
school?
Did in the military, like they do slaves to get them to do the work.
You think so?
Well, yeah.
I think they're doing all right.
What? Now it's voluntary. I'm talking about if it were mandatory.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, you'd have to. You'd have to do something.
You'd have to beat them.
You'd have to do something, right?
I mean, why would they do anything? They'd go in there because, threat of prison, I suppose, and that's what they did.
Sure.
When there was the draft. You better do your job, but they're not going to do their job well. They're not going to care. It's not like they're going to try to get promoted and make a career out of it. I mean, some
of them would,
but those are the ones that would probably volunteer.
Potentially, yeah.
So,
right. No, it's ridiculous. You can't force people to do things like that.
Not in a free country.
No, right?
Exactly. And there's a word for that. And it's called slavery.
Yeah. Well,
as temporary as it is, it's
slavery. Especially at a time when we don't need to have a mandatory draft, right? We don't need it.
Well, his argument was that the kids today are too soft and too undisciplined.
I agree.
And you know what?
I agree.
Every older generation has said about the younger generations for hundreds of years.
Look, I don't know.
Well, they have.
I think it's true, though.
Well, yeah, I think they're all a bunch of, wimpy sissy boys.
Yeah.
But
any of them under 50, anyway.
That's right. Wait, you're under 50.
Barely.
That was
thanks, Obama.
That was Obama between his pauses and his speeches. We cut those out for you later.
Yeah,
we have a soundbite. So, anyways, we're gonna ban guns. Sound like Baltimore or something, slithering.
Yeah,
I'll have your liver with a nice Chianti.
It reminded me of, for some reason, the cockroach guy from Men in Black.
Yeah.
I mean, probably for cockroaches, that makes sense, but just the alien.
That's the president of the United States.
And he just won't go away.
As a cockroach. He will. His days are numbered. When is it? January?
What?
There's a year.
Next year.
Oh, my God.
2017. Yeah, that's a long time.
That's terrible.
That's a long time. All right, what do you want to talk about? You want to take a break?
Is it time for a break?
Sure.
Early? Should I do our trivia question? Of course.
Do the trivia question. When we get back, I want to talk about drones.
Excuse me. This is kind of a tricky one, so I'm going to give you a clue. I'm going to give you
the answer
the modifier.
when we come back.
No, which president was the first president as a president to travel outside the U.S.? In other words, this person could have traveled as a non-president before he became president. But as a president, this was the first one to leave the United States.
All right. I have no idea.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
My Parents Open Carry, the new international children's book sensation. Bill Maher had this to say.
My Parents Open Carry.
Thanks, Bill. What a great recommendation. Hey, Bill, what makes Brenna's parents different?
Mom and Dad are both safe because they're packing.
And Stephen Colbert, what's the book about?
And it tells the heartwarming story of Brenna.
Nice summary. And Stephen agrees with Bill on what makes Brenna's parents different.
Unlike other parents, Brenna's mom and dad carry loaded weapons openly, which might make her feel different. But her father reassures her that, Brenna, there is evil in this world, and we want to protect you the best we can. When seconds count, the police are minutes away. What a beautiful bedtime story.
And be sure to check out the #1 best-selling children's book in government category at Amazon.com or at MyParentsOpenCarry.com. At odds.
Hey, Mom, tired of getting paid peanuts working for someone else? Tired of that job interfering with trying to be a good mom? How'd you like to be in total control of your time and make as much money as you want to? Go to Income51.com for free information on hundreds of work-from-home business opportunities from the Mom's Business Network.
I'm a single mom, and when I found this opportunity, I was able to make $1,200 part-time my first month, fire my boss, and now work from home full-time around my kids.
What mom wouldn't want to fire their boss, still make great money, and have the freedom to live the life she wants?
I was working as a corporate executive. I never had time with my family. Then I got downsized. I decided I was never going to work for anyone again. What I like about this is I get to be my own boss, work at home around my family, and provide a great lifestyle.
Go to Income51.com for free information today. That's Income51.com. Start earning great money as soon as next week. That's Income51.com. Income51.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Carlisi from the band 38 Special. The mainstream media has failed the American people once again. Internet radio networks like Red State Talk Radio will not fail you. Tune in 24 hours a day. Studios A and B. Great conservative programming around the clock. Red State Talk Radio, the dominant force in Internet conservative talk radio.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 877-595-5381. That's 877-595-5381. Again, 877-595-5381. Call now.
From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys.
listen to the Ad Odd Show with Nate and Brian, and then come on down in my basement and have a popsicle. Ooh, do not go down in the basement with that person. That's Nixon again, urinating.
Mike's still on.
He still hasn't stopped.
Richard.
Decky.
This is the Ad Out Show. I'm Nate. That's Brian over there. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Ad Out Show, adoutshow.com. Check out our book, myparentsopencarry.com. Before the break, Brian, you asked us a very important question.
I did. It was
which?
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Which president was the first president, as a president, to travel outside the U.S.?
George Washington.
Nope. And I will tell you even where he traveled. That'll be a hint.
Was it Benjamin Franklin?
It was not Benjamin Franklin. This president traveled to Panama.
Oh, to Panama.
Oh. Now that helps, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Richard Nixon.
No.
No.
Really?
John Quincy Adams?
To Panama. Which president was responsible for the Panama Bridge?
Was it before it was Panama? Because
no, it was Panama, but it was before there was a canal there, not a bridge. Jesus.
Obama probably claimed to build the Panama Bridge. You realize that's the opposite, right?
Yeah. Of a canal?
Yeah.
There's a topography difference. That's a throwback.
Slight.
Yeah. No, it was Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah, I knew that.
First president. I think they would have traveled before then, but I guess they were too busy doing things in the country.
Yeah, the planes usually didn't make it too far.
Washington's plane hardly ever flew at all.
Yeah, it was weird.
His helicopter he got around in, but not this plane.
You know they had jetpacks back then, right? But someone
they
destroyed them?
Yeah, it's a conspiracy.
It's got to be government.
Somebody spelled preempted wrong. That would have been you.
You don't know what I was trying to say.
I know what you were trying to say.
All right, look.
Speaking
we can
of
do
preempted,
this as quickly as you want, or we can take as much time as you want.
You can take as much. This is your baby. This is your
I'm really
town.
Not too happy about it. It's not my town. What are you talking about, Brian?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not your town. No. It's not your town.
Okay, look. Drones, right?
I'm looking,
and I'm making hand gestures, and you're supposed to interpret.
Remember, I was there.
I know you were there. Never mind. We don't need to talk about it. You were there.
I was there. Pretend like I wasn't there, and tell me what happened.
Yeah. So,
who was the best speaker there?
Me.
No, it was me.
I thought it. No, it was the city attorney.
Oh yeah,
he was the best
great.
speaker.
Oh,
okay,
boy.
so the city drafts this
draconian
drone.
That's hard to
say.
Draconian drone.
That's why I messed it up. Drone ordinance, right? Which essentially bans drones. I mean, that's what it does. They claim it doesn't.
Well, anyway,
the original wording had or the wording that they tried to pass anyway had a clause in there that said you cannot photograph people or private property without their consent.
Right.
While flying a drone, which they absolutely cannot do that, right? Because you can take a handheld camera and take a picture of anybody you want.
Right. When they're in public.
Yeah.
There's no expectation of privacy.
Right.
Been held up all courts.
And in public includes your backyard.
Right.
Right? It does not necessarily include your bathroom, depending on the situation, right?
Well, if you have glass walls.
If someone's using a telephoto lens and they're spying on you.
Right.
There's a line there somewhere.
And there's already ordinances about that, I think. You can.
There's got to be.
Right.
So this was going in as a nuisance, which whatever that means. Mm-hmm. They're trying to claim that since it's in the nuisance section, that it requires a complaint.
It's not like we're going to be out looking for people flying drones. That's not what we're going to do.
I think it's ridiculous that they're saying it requires a complaint because it doesn't.
No.
You telling me if a police officer is driving and seeing you violating this audience, they're going to wait until somebody or this ordinance they're going to wait until somebody calls? That's ridiculous.
That's what the chief told me after the meeting.
I know. That's what I know. I'm
not looking for more work, he says.
And I do believe that.
Yeah.
Right? But that doesn't mean he's not going to enforce the ordinances that are on the books. And this one is now. So they passed it. The city council passed it. They took out the ban on photography,
right.
which makes it slightly better, but still, it's still horrible, right? And it's still ridiculous, still unnecessary. So
So basically, it bans flying a drone within 25 feet of a power line, within 25 feet 100 feet of certain other things like power stations, and
500 feet of a substation,
500 feet from school, 500 feet from any police or fire scene,
traffic accident, medical emergency, fire investigation, public gathering space,
That's
which
a big
means
one.
a structure or enclosed area or other demarcated space used for the assembly of persons in the open air, including but not limited to amusement parks, stadiums, athletic fields, automotive speedways, aviation fields, which is weird, bandstands, beach enclosures, grandstands, observation platforms, outdoor public swimming pools, outdoor theaters, racetracks, reviewing stands, street festivals, or parade routes. Okay? So, the city attorney, what he says...
Well, wait a minute. So, actually, one of the councilmen's asked, well, where can they fly drones?
Yeah.
It was a good question.
Well, it was a good question. This was during the meeting.
Yeah.
And he said... Well,
I know where I can't fly them. Where can I fly them?
Yeah, there's there's at least one park.
Yeah, there's one park
There's at least one park where you can do it.
And then some of the audience said, no, that could be a public gathering place.
Yeah.
And then he was kind of
and
like,
then, well, he wasn't kind of like, because then what he did was stepped way outside of his role as city attorney during a city council meeting and gave us a 5 to 10 minute lecture about safety and think of the children. And do you really want your child in a park with a drone hovering over them? That's not your job.
The horror.
That's not his job, though.
Right. He's to interpret the law.
It's obvious to me that he had a bias on this, right? He agrees with the ordinance regardless of what the law says. But he said, he was quoted in the Lansing State Journal as saying, we only have 2 restrictions on drones now, 500 feet from a school and 500 feet from a substation.
Right.
I just read you
All
30 things that aren't included in those 2.
That's how they're spinning it. This isn't a ban on drones, but it's a ban.
Did he read it?
And then it says, what does it say about recreational use?
All use should be for recreational use.
Yeah, but when you do fly a drone that you can't fly, it has to be recreational. Oh, except the exception which allows
if you're
for
authorized
commercial.
by the well, it doesn't say anything about commercial.
I thought it did.
No,
it doesn't.
No, it says, notwithstanding the prohibition set forth in this section, nothing in this section shall be construed to prohibit any person who is authorized by the FAA to operate an unmanned aircraft in city airspace from conducting such operations in accordance with the terms of such authorization and in accordance with this section. It doesn't say anything about commercial use.
Okay, so but the FAA approves private use of drones.
Everybody's authorized.
Yeah. So I don't know how they can
It's
stop this.
absolutely-
And that's the other point was that, the federal government has preempted airspace laws. They're saying they can do it within 400 feet. We can do anything within 400 feet.
That's what the city attorney
That's what
said.
the city said. And I didn't know where that 400 foot came from. So I asked the drone expert that was in the audience that hated this as well, this ordinance. And he said, that goes to a Supreme Court case where there was some guy growing pot in his property and he had a big fence around and they couldn't see over the fence, so they got a helicopter and flew over and took pictures and stuff. And they arrested him on that, and they fought it saying that he had a right to privacy, and they couldn't do that. And in the court case, they said, well, the government can come within 400 feet of your property to look at stuff. But that restricts the federal government to 400 feet. It doesn't say they can
regulate
control 400
feet
from the
right,
ground
absolutely.
to 400 feet. It doesn't say that.
And federal law, as much as I don't like the federal government having power, it is absolutely clear that the federal government, it explicitly states the federal government has exclusive sovereignty on airspace. Exclusive sovereignty on airspace, right? It's clear. Now, there have, obviously, you can grow trees, you can put up buildings, things like that. So you do have some control over the airspace on your private property.
That's actually another Supreme Court decision in 1946 said that you have, as a property owner, you have a certain amount of control over a limited height.
Yeah.
What that is, they didn't determine, but
Sure.
you could put up buildings and grow trees and such like that.
But that's more evidence that the city cannot
Right.
regulate that area, right?
You would think.
So it passed unanimously.
Yeah. At least one of them said, well, maybe we should table this until we've had more time to listen to the input.
And then a couple others said that might be okay, and then
the guy who was really pushing it
said no.
No, this is fine. We've spent hours and millions of billions of dollars.
8 months, right?
And we've looked at every aspect of it except, well, this photography part that we're going to strike.
That's garbage, right? Because that's what they kept saying is, you guys have concerns. We reviewed them with our city attorney.
Right.
Every single concern you mentioned. And then all of the sudden, they decide to strike out one of them because they realize, oh, we didn't review it. Right,
yeah, and
then the city attorney completely misquotes the law,
and you wondered if he'd ever even read
I'm not sure
or understood it.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't understand it.
I was not impressed with him, but that's me.
He is new.
Yeah, is he new
to the city, not to law? No, he's won lots of awards for
defending
the city on workers' comp claims that their employees have made.
A little different than drones.
He's always been on the side of the government.
Yeah. And he still is, it's obvious.
Yeah.
So boo.
Sad. Yeah, absolutely boo.
So there was some talk about challenging it, and
it's
a $150 ticket if you're caught first time.
First time, yeah.
And then it goes up to third time's $500.
Yeah, and it defines unmanned aircraft as anything that is operated remotely that's not tethered.
Right.
So literally any little helicopter or
your daughter
little
has one.
airplane, that's mine.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, it's a tiny little helicopter, right?
Yeah.
That if it hits you, it doesn't hurt. Believe me, I'm really bad at flying it. I've hit myself many times.
Mm-hmm. Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
It could do some damage, but the point is, you can't fly that in a public gathering space. We have parks that are just wide open fields that I think may or may not be a public gathering space. I don't know.
Does it have to have a structure there? I'm wondering if they put up a temporary tent. Is that a structure?
It's other demarcated space used for assembly of persons in the open air. Is it demarcated?
I would say that a soccer field would be, even if it had.
Well, that's specifically a athletic park, athletic field, right?
Yeah.
The one that's interesting to me, and maybe this is referring to something specific, but aviation fields.
Yeah, I mean,
because to me, that seems like the perfect place to fly something.
If it's for if it's for private stuff. If it's
are they talking about the airport?
Yeah, then that's already controlled by the FAA.
Right. Well, we don't have an airport in the city of DeWitt either.
No, well, that's true. Yeah. So I don't know. It's nice to have a drone go up and take pictures of fireworks. On the 4th of July or something, and you won't be able to do that. I guess
I saw some awesome photographs of a festival in town last year that one of these guys took with a drone.
Right.
Which is what caused one of the concerns.
Yeah.
Someone on the council saw it, and that was concerning.
Right, because one of the speakers went up and said, "Now, let me understand. There's been some harm done, and how many people were killed? Was it 10 or 15 people were killed?
Pretty brilliant.
And I looked at him. I said, "No, was it 5 people killed? No, come on. There was it was one person killed, right? Oh, then there was 15 or 20 people injured." And I went. I mean, this person went down and said,
"Yeah."
It was 3 people injured.
Nobody was injured.
Oh, the incident was a drone dropped into the bed of a pickup truck.
That's one of them, yeah.
That's horrifying. We have to stop that.
Yeah.
Did you like when I jerked my knee out to the chief?
I did. I was concerned.
Yeah.
You shouldn't make
fast moves around a cop.
What is it? Furtive movements?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
he could have drawn down on me.
He could have.
Oh boy.
Yikes.
So it's just status making more laws and trying to solve a problem.
Unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary.
I love the Groucho Marx quote that I used.
That was good.
But government screws everything up. So.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much that they search for a solution to a problem, and I've experienced that before.
Analyze it and then come up with the wrong solution.
It's not a problem. And everybody, I mean, if it was that big of a problem, it seems like you would have had 1 or 2 people that showed up to the meeting, the committee meeting before the council meeting, or to the council meeting to say, hey, this is a good ordinance and I like it because I want my children to be safe. Not one person. There was a representative from AMA. It's like the American Model Aircraft or Aeronautics. Aeronautics
mechanical
model
airplane or something like that.
It's model aircraft.
Yeah.
The AMA is a big organization.
Yes.
In fact, the FAA has kind of worked with them to draft some of their suggestions, right?
And what one person said is they said the FAA is supposed to be coming out with guidelines or laws
probably
and
the
rules
beginning of the year.
For private use, yeah. And why don't you at least wait to see what they say?
Right.
No, we got to do it now because, boy, we'll have to save one child. It's worth it if we save one.
But it
child's life.
won't.
But it won't because if somebody wants to violate this and it crashes, have all the laws in the world, right? Just like a no-gun sign.
There haven't been any children harmed in the city.
Yeah.
As far as I know, there's been no damage done.
Right.
Right.
None. And so I said, well, how many complaints have you got? Oh, I've had lots of complaints. People come up and ask me if that was legal. I said, that's not really a complaint.
Yeah, it's not
that's
a complaint,
question.
yeah.
I don't know.
It's horrible.
They just...
horrible. So,
they missed a lot of our points, too.
It's,
they didn't want to listen to it.
It's an election year.
Are you running?
Well, it's a little early. Let's just focus on the issues that we have to deal with today.
Sure. Besides, you're on the list now.
Which list?
The city's list now.
Oh, I've been on the city's list.
You're unelectable now, buddy.
Yeah, I've been. Well, yeah, maybe it's possible.
All I have to do is get chief of police and the mayor to come out against you. Take out a radio ad,
Yeah, I could see
Nate
that.
Nate is a bad guy.
I could see that happening. Well, I will.
His sister is a known thespian. I mean, she acts.
I think she was in choir or something.
Okay.
But somebody did call the city for something related to me, and
that was the farmer, the sheep farmer.
They knew they knew my name without them telling my name, without the person calling saying who I was. It was kind of creepy.
Wait a minute. So somebody described an incident with you?
Yeah, I don't
knew
really
who you
remember
were
what it. Yeah, kind of.
Before the person identified him as you? Mm-hmm. That is creepy. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What were you doing?
Don't worry about it. Sorry, Farmer McDonald.
I'm going to FOIA it.
No, it wasn't a bad thing, but that's fine. I think we were just something with the utility bill or something. I don't remember. Whatever. Okay.
The one with the anthrax in it?
No, come on. Don't.
Oh, really?
Wait, is anthrax still a thing?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we're done worrying about that.
Yeah.
And SARS, we're done with that one, right? Ebola, we're pretty much done.
Smallpox.
Yeah. West Nile.
Yeah.
I think we're done.
Swine flu.
Yeah, swine flu. I think we're done with
bird
that one.
Bird flu.
Well, bird flu, yeah.
Elephantitis.
Yeah, H1N1, which is...
Bahi.
Bubonic plague.
That's still around.
We did have a case of the plague in Upper Michigan.
There's plagues out west all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's where I think it was a woman, had just come back.
They're in the fleas passing around.
Had the plague, and it's like, wow. No
did
choice.
they have the people with the long bird beaks?
No choice, but
in the hoods and stuff coming around doing dances.
Yes,
and stuff?
yes, they did. All right,
throw out your dead! Throw out your dead! With the dead cart as we're walking down the street.
They had no choice but to burn her.
Yeah. Would have been nice if they waited until she had died, but all right.
So, okay. I don't know if you were waiting for a specific time to play this, but this is Lindsey Graham, and it cracks me up.
Well, look, I think we have to kind of preface it. This was
no, I don't think.
No,
we do.
this was a counter.
I don't think we do.
All right, fine.
No, go ahead. Preface it.
No,
it's too late.
No,
they're expecting a preface now.
No, you play it, and then if they have questions afterwards, we'll answer them.
Okay.
If I buy a gun on the internet, is it delivered to my home?
If you buy a gun on the internet?
I try to buy a gun on the internet. Where do I pick it up?
I assume it's shipped to you, but I don't know for sure, actually.
Okay, well, let's find out the answer to that.
That was the FBI director, by the way, that didn't know.
So, any questions?
I don't hear one. Steve, got anything? No, Steve said, give me the okay sign. Wow.
I don't know why.
I
don't know why it makes me laugh so much.
If I buy a gun on the internet, is it delivered to my home?
You just like that because it's got that home,
my home,
that homey style.
Yeah. Oh, good old
it's
unmarried
like a character
Lindsey Graham.
on the Family Guy or Cleveland Show or something.
If I buy a gun on the internet, is it delivered to my home?
On the internet.
Does it get shipped to my address?
Where is that? Flaming Lane? I don't know.
Wow. Wow.
Well, I don't know. He's not married.
You went down. Yeah, well,
I went down that road.
Plenty of non-married men that don't like
that aren't gay. No, there aren't. There are none. If you're over 40 and you're not married, you're gay, right?
I don't think that's true at all.
Okay.
I don't think it's even close.
Okay. Prove me wrong.
Wow, let's move on. I guess it was a mistake playing
that.
that.
It was,
All
right. So we
let's
can
talk
do
about Obama.
Well, we can, okay, or Trump. We got something on Trump.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right, go
do you want?
to Obama.
You want
and this was his Oval Office speech where everybody's saying, look, there's green leaves on the trees behind him, and he's not even in the Oval Office, and that's a green screen projection. And he's in a bunker somewhere in Saudi Arabia or something. Do they have leaves on the trees at the White House still this time of year?
I don't know.
It would depend on the tree, I suppose.
I don't know. Were there cherry blossoms? You would be able to.
There was no cherry blossoms.
Yeah, it would depend on the tree. Yeah. I mean, and did he say he was in the Oval Office?
Yeah, it was an Oval Office speech, first one in 400 years or something.
when the room was slightly less oval.
It wasn't quite as oval. It's being compressed, and it was a circle office. Well, there's defamation.
Do you want me to play this now? We're running out of time.
Okay, so these are some of his points on fighting terrorism. And we're just going to do the last one.
Yeah, I don't care about terrorism.
Okay, yeah, he had a bunch of gobbledygook about how he's going to stop terrorism.
I mean, I care about terrorism. I don't care about what the president has to say about terrorism.
Except for this. This is one of the things a couple of things he's going to do.
This will help terrorism.
All right.
There are several steps that Congress should take right away. To begin with, Congress should act to make sure no one on a no-fly list is able to buy a gun. What could possibly be the argument for allowing a terrorist suspect to buy a semi-automatic weapon?
Well, freedom.
Yeah, freedom would be one of them. Yeah. I mean, the big one is that the no-fly list, there's absolutely no barrier to being put on there, right? There's no due process at all.
It's hard to get off.
There's a lot of people that are on it that
are harmless.
Seem to be
children.
Good,
there's some
good
children on it.
There are children.
Ted Kennedy was on it. I mean, it's an enemies list. If you didn't like somebody and you wanted to screw with them, you put them on the no-fly list. And I'm sure it's happened.
Right.
You get a political dissident. You get somebody that said something bad about you, instead of you can audit their taxes and then put them on a no-fly zone.
Yeah.
If they're as dangerous as they say and they can't possess a firearm, why aren't they arrested and being tried?
Yeah, exactly.
Or deported?
Exactly.
So, no. There is a lot of arguments against
plenty of reasons
banning people to have guns that are on a no-fly list.
I mean, not to mention that the no-fly list itself is probably unconstitutional.
Well,
I mean, I think it's pretty clearly unconstitutional, actually,
and it's actually
it inhibiting restricts your freedom to travel.
Your right to travel, and it infringes on private enterprise because it denies the airlines ticket sales.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but so does the TSA and everything else.
The what?
The TSA.
Well, yeah, okay, I'm lumping that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But
all right.
This is a matter of national security. We also need to make it harder for people to buy powerful assault weapons, like the ones that were used in San Bernardino.
Well, that's true. I think that's true.
What's that?
That we need to make it harder to buy very powerful assault weapons.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because they were used in San Bernardino.
And if you and I are familiar with, ballistics and calibers. These were AR-15s.
Mm-hmm.
They're like half the size of a 30-06. I mean, they're a small.
Trying to do the math.
Well, at least powder. AR-15's in essence a 22.
It's a 22 caliber. Yeah,
223.
Yeah, it's a tiny bullet. Really,
it's very small.
It's kind of long.
My deer hunting rifles are much more powerful.
Yeah,
AK-47s are more powerful, but. Yeah. So the more powerful assault rifles, then you have to define what an assault rifle is.
Assault weapon.
Weapon, okay, weapon. And they're already fairly well controlled.
Yeah, way too well controlled, especially in California.
Yeah. So what else did he say?
I know there are some who reject any gun safety measures.
Ah.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I like that.
Gun
didn't
control?
What? He's not calling it gun control anymore. He's calling it
safety measures.
Gun safety measures.
Gun safety measures. But the fact is that our intelligence...
That's interesting.
Gun safety measures. Who can be against gun safety?
Eddie Eagle can't.
No.
That's for sure.
Everybody wants
safety. Well, someone said something, and it wasn't very brilliant, but they said it. Safety is the tyrant's tool or something.
Who can be against safety?
Right.
Safety is the tyrant. Quote. It's not mine. Safety is the tyrant's tool for who can be against safety.
Yeah.
Right? That's exactly right.
But the fact is that our intelligence and law enforcement agencies, no matter how effective they are, cannot identify every would-be mass shooter.
Absolutely right.
That's true.
That's one argument why the no-fly list is wrong, and why it shouldn't be a list for keeping guns away from people either, right? Because no matter how good you are, you can't tell who's a good guy or who's a bad guy until they become a bad guy.
Right. And as long as you keep having gun-free zones where good guys aren't allowed to have guns lawfully, you're going to have these killings continue.
Mass shooter, whether that individual is motivated by ISIL or some other hateful ideology. What we can do and must do is make it harder for them to kill.
Make ISIL harder to kill?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
Not sure what he was saying. He's not very good at English, but yeah, we actually, that was like a 4-minute clip. We cut it down to 1.5 minutes because we cut out all of the sounds.
That sounds really terrible.
What was he doing? He must have been in a bunker in Saudi Arabia.
It's very dry. He's picking sand out of his nose. And oh my God.
The Oval Office is it's awfully dry this time of year. All right, you want to play Trump or not?
Yeah.
We have just enough time to play him. Anyway, so let's wrap that up. Obama's an idiot. Okay, moving on.
This is Trump on Muslims and investigating them, deporting them, doing whatever, limiting.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
We did cut out a lot of applause in here. There was more applause than we're going to play.
Have no choice. Mr. Trump stated, without looking at the various polling data, it's obvious to anybody the hatred is beyond comprehension of such a big portion. Where the hatred comes from and why, we will have to determine. We're going to have to figure it out. We have to figure it out. We can't live like this. It's going to get worse and worse. You're going to have more World Trade Centers. It's going to get worse and worse, folks. We can be politically correct and we can be stupid, but it's going to get worse and worse. Folks, those days are over. Those days are over. We have to be tough. We have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. Yes, we have to look at mosques and we have to respect mosques. But yes, we have to look at mosques. We have no choice. We have to see what's happening. Because something is happening in there. Man, there's anger. There's anger. And we have to know about it. We can't be these people that are sitting back like in the World Trade Center, like so many different things. We can't be people that knew what was going on 2 weeks ago in California. Probably for months they knew what was going on, and they didn't want to tell anybody. We can't be that. We have to be strong. When we see violations, you have to report those violations, and quickly.
No Japs allowed.
Oh, don't give me that.
What?
This is a legitimate danger.
Is it?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Serious, yeah.
Okay. Look, I think it's ridiculous what he's saying. I don't think you can do it. I don't think you should do it. I don't think it will do any good. Right? What you need to do is allow more people to be able to defend themselves and defend other people, and it will fizzle out. Right? We haven't seen too many terrorist attacks in
the U.S.
places where people in the U.S. right,
period,
especially in places where people are allowed to carry firearms. But the law actually kind of is on his side, right? I don't know if you saw it or not, I saw an article, but and it's kind of iffy. But there's some provisions for the president to be able to decide who comes in and who doesn't,
right? Based on a danger.
Groups that support terrorism, I don't think Muslims are that group, but a totalitarian communist party. How many communists are we letting in? They're not supposed to be allowed in. People that were affiliated with the Communist Party.
The government's full of them already.
I know. How did that happen?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's internal growing.
Yeah, some of it is.
You bring the seeds in, and then you can grow your own.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, is that what you're concerned with the Muslims coming in?
Kind of.
Really?
Well, I think the mosques give them bases of operation, I think.
Sure, and I'm not
saying they're all like that. Of course not.
Well,
But how many does it take to cause havoc and to kill people?
Yeah.
Not many.
Right. How are you going to stop them?
But you can't punish the whole group for
Yeah,
the
how are
actions
you
of a
going to
few.
stop them? Right. I mean,
you can't. You got to do intelligence. That's one way.
Right.
To get people.
And he went on to say he's going to protect you if you profile, that sort of thing. I think that kind of makes sense. You need to check out the people that you think have the highest likelihood of causing a problem. And that's not necessarily Muslims, right? That's anybody. Whatever
you
group
and
it
I.
is. Yeah.
Our group.
I told the city knows me well. I told you so. All right, we're out of time.
You're on a no-fly list. At least drones.
Oh, I see what you did there. Well, I can up until Sunday.
Yeah, okay.
So I will be out there flying it
Your little droney.
until Sunday.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Till midnight. All right. See you next week.
Bye-bye.